Becoming a millionaire is no easy feat, but every now and again you'll have these people who think just simple enough that their ideas are crazy enough to work. Like, all right, how about goggles for a dog? Genius. It's a masterpiece. Sold. Yes. Or how about a walking billboard? Easy $1 million idea. Yes. Or how about a pet rock? Wait a second, is that right? Yeah, we can sell that. You know, it's crazy he had that idea because I too had the pet rock idea. Oh, what's that? You had that idea first? Yeah, me too. Me too. Here are 15 times people got rich in unexplainably dumb ways. Number 15. It's one thing to get rich from your own luck while gambling away at a casino, but 99 times out of 100, the house always wins, which makes you wonder why people even bother going in the first place. Although in some special cases, the house does lose, and trust me, when it does, it loses harder than you would ever believe. On one fateful August night in 2013, the Horseshoe Casino in Cincinnati held a drawing where the winner would be awarded $1 million. So when they drew a name and someone named Kevin Lewis came to reap his rewards, they didn't exactly realize that they had the wrong guy.
Our next millionaire from Horseshoe, Cincinnati is Kevin Lewis.
Technically, a Kevin Lewis did win the money, but it just wasn't this one. However, in a classy move by casino officials, they decided to award both men $1 million each. And if you thought the odds of winning the jackpot on the slots was low, imagine how lucky both of these guys were to walk away instant millionaires from a random contest. Number 14. Whether you're a dog or cat person, one thing that we can all agree on is the fact that we absolutely love our animals. However, some of us have different tastes when it comes to household pets. I'm sure we've all gotten fed up with our puppy's antics and at some point, maybe even considered getting an easier pet. And that is where I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, Pet Rock. Long gone are the days of cleaning up after your pet or having to worry about why it's making loud noises in the next room. Making its debut back in 1970, the Pet Rock immediately flew off of shelves and sold approximately 1.5 million units within months of its initial release, making the guy who came up with the idea $6 million in the process, which when equated to modern day currency is roughly $27 million.
And then you'll be out of the pet rock business.
Then I'll be out of the rock business and into some other insane scheme. Or lying on a beach someplace not caring about it.
I don't blame him for getting out quickly. Probably best to be gone before sales start to get rocky. But if you thought that was stupid, prepare yourselves for number 13. Leaving a mark on history is something many strive for, and the idea of legacy is a concept that we all pay mind to, and being a part of history is innately an attractive thing for that very reason. So when Alex 2 opened up the $1 million homepage, everyone wanted to snag a spot in the internet history books with a feature on the illustrious board. He did it as a means to display the power of the internet, though many people seeking to have their companies and brands immortalized forever came out of the woodworks. And if you were wondering, no, you can't get a spot anymore as the page sold its last spot on eBay for $38,000 back in 2006. This last purchase brought the total price of the board to just over $1 million. To this day, the page stands as a reminder of this man and all of the companies and people who contributed to making him a millionaire. Personally, though, if I was around back then, I would probably save my money. Number 12. When you think about it, just about anywhere can be a place for advertisers to promote their products, from collector cups to billboards to bumper stickers, and even to people. In this modern world, consumerism has been running rampant, and as such, it's a really great avenue to earn money. So by putting this practice to work, Jason Sadler used himself and a few others to advertise any website or brand. He did this by creating a site and a YouTube channel called iwearyourshirt.com, and as the name would suggest, he did exactly that as a means to advertise brands. Him and his team of employees became walking billboards for hundreds of companies, and they made an absolutely absurd amount of money while doing it. It might sound like a dumb concept to some of you, but that just so happened to be $1 million idea. Speaking of walking billboards, you guys should walk over to the subscribe button and give it a click. Here comes number 11. Getting into selling unique products on sites like Etsy can be a really solid business venture as long as you have a good idea of what you're doing. It can be a good way to make some spare cash on the side. However, if there's one thing we all fall prey to, it's cosmetics or other virtual items in video games. Whether we're talking about getting a new luxury apartment in GTA or a cool new skin in Fortnite, usually the money from these ventures goes straight to the companies behind the games, but in Second Life, that cash can go directly to the player. And if you're wondering what Second Life is, well, it's in the name as it gives you your own virtual second life. With these virtual lives, Anshi Chung has made millions from selling in-game custom cosmetics that she and her team create, which individually don't make much, but when multiplied by millions of sales from active users, adds up rather quickly. Chung really used her second life to put her first one way ahead. Now that's using your digital entrepreneurial skills. But now it's time for number 10. If you've ever been browsing channels and you come across the FYI network, you've probably at some point seen the show Storage Wars, which by itself can be pretty entertaining, with people either making or breaking their banks by bidding on abandoned storage units. And while most cases have proven these lockers to be busts, that doesn't swerve people from wanting to bid on them. So when this Asian woman and her husband bought a unit for $500, they were gambling on the contents inside. But this one was definitely a risk worth taking, as the couple discovered a safe with $7.5 million inside. Imagine being the person who stored all that cash in the unit. I guess the old saying is true, that one man's trash is certainly another man's treasure. Number 9. Greetings are important when it comes to the very basic aspect of communicating with other people. So when the word yo, yes yo, became popularized back in the 1940s, it was bound to last and become a pseudo-meaningful part of the English language for years to come. Taking advantage of this, Moshe Hogeg created an app that swept the nation back on April Fool's Day in 2014. The name of that app being Yo, and I'll let its promotional video do the talking on its function. Yep, that's the actual whole product and all of its selling points. A simple, single, pre-prompted message to send to anyone on your contact list. You and the boys need a fourth for squats? Just shoot your boy Kyle a yo. All jokes aside, this app and the creator made roughly $7 million, all off of a common phrase and just 8 hours of work. Number 8. It's pretty fair to say that we all come up with excuses from time to time. And while sometimes they don't work, one surefire way to get out of most anything is to have a signed document backing that. These things are extremely valuable to those who value their personal time, and with that knowledge, one smart man got to work by creating myexcusedabsence.com. Selling any kind of excuse note for the price of roughly $25, all by getting loads of people out of otherwise unavoidable obligations. And while the notes had a clear, for entertainment use only text note on the pages, it didn't stop people from attempting to use them. Eventually, the site was closed for being borderline illegal, but before its shutdown, it made a pretty penny for its creator. Number 7. If you didn't want to be a part of history like those who bought a spot on the $1 million homepage, maybe you'd like to own an actual piece of history. One night, while browsing a Nashville thrift store, a man named Michael Sparks came across a copy of the American Declaration of Independence and bought it for $2.48. I can't even make this stuff up. What the thrift shop didn't realize at the time was that the document was one of 200 copies made by John Quincy Adams and was printed by William Stone. The man took this rare piece of history to an auction where it ended up selling for $500,000. Imagine making an investment, the price of a cup of coffee, and coming out with that much cash. Maybe I need to speculate on more items in my next thrift shop visit. Number 6. Sports memorabilia can go for loads of cash, but usually it's well after a player has seen his day that you'll see things like autographed posters and baseball cards rise in price. But for this lucky fan, he made plenty off of Mark McGwire's 70th home run of the 1998 season. After this legendary game, the team asked him for the ball to sign and even gave the guy a signed jersey. However, this once-in-a-lifetime fan experience wasn't quite valuable enough for him, as he sold that autographed ball for just over $3 million. I could totally get it if it were a few years after, but it was within 3 months that he shipped the ball off to another huge Cardinals fan. Some say memories are priceless, but for this guy, they can be bought for a pretty hefty fee. Number 5. It's not hard to tell why we all love memes and the culture that's been built around them. They offer a reprieve from some serious topics by taking up space on social media and giving us a reason to laugh. However, memes have been around for quite a while, but really taking up internet real estate starting back in 2005 with the insurgence of the top text, bottom text templates before they would eventually diversify to what they are today. One of the key contributors to the meme evolution came in the year 2007 when the site I Can Has Cheeseburger Burger sprouted up and took over the funny cat business. Originally inspired by a portly cat with a caption sharing the site's name, it quickly became a hub for people to send in funny pictures of their feline friends. And after the site gained tons of traffic, people started to take notice before the owners were offered $2 million for the domain. I guess cats really do rule the world, considering that these guys are swimming in cash all for some funny memes. Number 4. Imagine you're just out helping the neighbor look for a lost tool when you suddenly happen across a treasure trove of gold. That's precisely what happened when Eric Laws was peeking around a field with his metal detector when he saw the massive cache of valuables laying around him. He then informed the owners, who opted to organize a full-scale excavation of the land to ensure that these important finds were all brought to light. Shortly after the discovery, the treasure was sold for $4.3 million, with the money going to Mr. Laws, who then shared it with the gentleman who sent him searching in the first place. Kind of makes you want to grab a metal detector and walk along the beach for a while. Who knows, maybe you'll find some buried treasure next. Number 3. Now, I wouldn't say a product or service is dumb because of the seller and their concept. As long as it makes sales, it shows people want it regardless of how stupid the idea may sound. So when Scott Boylan pitched the idea for a backwards robe and called it a Snuggie, I can guarantee those in the meeting to approve the product had some reservations about if it could succeed or not. Nowadays, we know that people loved Snuggies, with the product grossing over $200 million after a massive breakout year selling 10 million units at a $20 price tag. It's crazy to think that all of that success came from selling a bathrobe you're supposed to wear the opposite way. Number 2. As we mentioned back on number 14, we all love our pets. However, not all of them are quite as durable as the Pet Rock. As such, inventions to improve our furry friends' quality of life have been developed over the years, with our number 2 spot being one of them. Designed as a means to help preserve your dog's eyesight, doggles were invented. The concept is all in the name, as they're literally goggles for the dog, and what they're meant to do is act as sunglasses so your pup isn't squinting too hard out in the daylight. To say that this is a niche product is probably an understatement, but that hasn't stopped Doggles from making their creator over $2 million. Oh my god. It's literally just goggles for dogs. Number 1. Chances are, if you're American and you enjoy a good Thanksgiving dinner, you've seen a wishbone be broken by 2 members of your family. However, there's certainly some of us who have sadly missed out on this tradition over the years. But I wouldn't worry about it too much, considering this next product was practically made for you.
If you've ever made a wish using a turkey wishbone, you probably regretted there's only one per bird. Canaroni decided there had to be a better way to make more wishes possible. So he invented the Lucky Break wishbone.
Made by the company Lucky Break, these wishbones are entirely synthetic, and their function is to simply be broken in hopes to make a wish come true. And while he can't guarantee that your wish will be granted, one thing I can say with absolute certainty is that this guy made piles of cash by selling these things, with the product altogether making about $2.5 million a year. I'm sure he won't be needing any of these bones to make his dreams come true. Sheesh. If you love this video, you're gonna love this one right over here on screen. Be sure to click the annotation on screen, and I will see you guys over on that video. We'll see you guys next time, but be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click that like button if you enjoyed, and keep it right here on Top 5 Central.